Ja.
3, 2, 1, Start!
Was geht's?
And we're off. Welcome to Germany's latest ParkRun. If you're looking for the hustle and bustle of Berlin, you've come to the wrong place. We ventured about an hour and a half outside of the city into the beautiful countryside of Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. This is a historic morning for the local team because it's only their second ever event. The bloke on my shoulder here is Stefan. He's a legend who helps organise several of the Berlin parkruns. But as the timer starts, the professional courtesy ends and the race begins. Although, as always, a reminder that parkrun is a run, not a race. Looking around the field before the start, I reckon I could stay near the front. Last week's winning time, the only winning time of this parkrun, was an 18:10, so that's the mark in the sand for how fast this path truly is. My strategy, in typical fashion, just go out hard and try to hold on. I'm nursing a bit of a cold this week, so sending it at this speed is probably a medically questionable idea, but I want to see where the limit is, as always. My opening pace is hovering in the 3:30 to 3:40 range, which is neither sensible nor sustainable, and whilst one day I'll get better at pacing, today is not that day. If you check the GPS trace on your screen, you'll see the route has a very specific shape. I spent the train ride up here trying to decide if it was a crab or a croissant. A croissant seemed more appropriately European for a Saturday morning run, even if croissants were invented in Austria to celebrate the defeat of the Ottoman Empire and are now more commonly associated with France. But I'll ignore that part as I run around a German park. We're currently heading towards a little bridge that felt like the foothills of the Alps, but in reality, it's only about 5 meters long. And as I crest it and head down the other side, I can feel my legs spinning out. We're transitioning from solid concrete onto this sandy, light gravel. And this is going to be a theme of the day, a constant back and forth between hard pavement and loose grit. Despite starting my racing in mountain biking, I'll take solid concrete over loose gravel any day, but looks like I'll have to make do today. I take a quick look back and see I've already pulled away from Stefan. I don't like to push too hard this early, I say, but as you can see from my heart rate monitor, I'm already hitting 180 BPM and we haven't even finished the first kilometre. Although as we go through that first kilometre, it's a 3:41, which probably explains how high my heart rate went, although it has now recovered a little. We're approaching the first U-turn with an enthusiastic marshal. I told myself I'd try a Japanese U-turn here. For those who don't know, it's a specific technique where you spin left to turn right, or vice versa. And today's my first go at trying it out in the wild. Did it actually make me any quicker? Probably not. I'll likely just look a little bit of a plonker to everyone watching, which is only confirmed by the disconcerting look I'm getting from the marshal. An upside to the U-turn is that I get to see exactly how far ahead I am. We give a high five to the runner in second place on the left. He's looking strong and steady. And this is one of the things I love about the out and backs. You get to cheer for everyone and they cheer for you.
Go on, Zach.
Shout out to Zach, a lovely fella from the UK I caught the train back with later. It's always nice to stay chatty and cheer each other on, especially when you're digging deep.
Oh my. Oh God, is it hard already?
Kilometre 2 clocks in at 3:49. That's exactly where I want to be. Maybe a tiny bit quicker if I were feeling 100%, but considering that send it start, I'll take it. If I can hold this, I'll be happy. I see a marshal on his bike on the left. He's just pedaling off to his checkpoint, and we'll probably catch up with him again in the second half of the croissant. And there he is indeed, guiding me across our second of 2 bridges today, this one with, thankfully, significantly less elevation than the first. The nature of this path is just stunning. There's so much greenery out here, although admittedly, if it were wet and windy and raining, I'd be miserable and complaining. But on a lovely day like today, I can't fault it. I'm even getting excited by the animals I'm seeing through the trees. Now, why are we all the way out here? Well, the reason for the trek is that the Berlin Half Marathon is happening tomorrow, and the city parkruns just can't cater to the massive influx of tourists, so several of them had to be cancelled. I hopped on a train this morning to get out here, and I'm quite lucky because the ticket was included with my monthly travel pass. Absolutely free travel for the morning. If you ever find yourself in the Berlin area and fancy a change of pace, Neubrandenburg is really lovely. It's a pretty little town with old city walls and a great community feel. I was starting to find this part really hard. I wasn't sure how far this path went on. I'd seen it on the map, but it just kept winding and curving. So I was looking to anything for a distraction at this point. I think I really tried to crack a joke at a duck back there, pun intended, but I don't think he was impressed. As we hit kilometre 3, the watch shows 3:56. It's not quite where I want to be, is it? I banked a few seconds in the first 2 kilometres, but I've got to step this up if I want a decent time. Where I complained in the last ParkRun about the long, mind-numbing straights, this ParkRun you can barely see further than 50 metres. I'm not sure I find it much better, so maybe I just like complaining.
Oh, that thing. I just want to see a marshal.
Changing the subject though, we're around 2 miles in and I'm starting to lose my mind a little bit. I'm chatting with the camera, but I really need to stop talking and start breathing. I'm getting pretty knackered. We're coming up to my second chance at a Japanese U-turn, where we stumble upon a marshal who is not expecting me at all by the looks of it.
Yeah.
He panics at my arrival, I stumble around the U-turn, losing my traction and almost falling over.
Went horribly wrong. So, not on gravel. Not on gravel, Dan.
Crisis avoided though. As I say to myself in the moment, maybe I'll save the Japanese U-turn for concrete and avoid it on loose gravel. Kilometre 4 is where the mental battle really begins. I'm spending way too much time chatting to the camera, which is a thinly veiled excuse for talking to myself. It's lovely for the video, but not great for my timing. My pace is jumping back towards the 4 minutes per kilometre mark. Honestly, I'm at the point where I don't even understand what I'm saying. I'm mumbling to myself about what kind of birds I just saw. It was a duration challenge for anyone that cares.
Super good. So 20 approach.
My pace is dropping to 15 kilometers an hour and I'm firmly into the 350s. I'm starting to feel the effects of that cold and my pace line on the screen is starting to look a little shaky. I've got to pin my ears back and find a reason to keep moving as we clock kilometer 4, 3:57. Into the final 600 meters. I've kept to the right hand side of 4 minutes, but it isn't looking pretty. We have to navigate the most technical part of the course, the tree routes. Fortunately, the team has spray painted them bright colours and I dance across them. Well, it's less of a dance and more of a panic stumble, but I managed to avoid ending my morning in an ambulance. I'm on the metaphorical home straight now, just 2 left-hand turns and then the finishing funnel. There's no one on my heels, so I just have to push myself. As I pull away from the first of the 2 left-hand turns, we pass some sheep and goats and a little pen. It's always lovely to get some more wildlife motivation, even if they are just staring at me whilst I'm basically dying. Up to the final left-hander, and I'm not cutting corners here. The marshals in their bright yellow vests are watching, but I'm not a cheater, and I'm certainly not about to start cheating in front of the volunteers on the very final corner. I'm kicking now, getting back into the 330s for the sprint. You can hear me dying on the mic. It sounds like an old Victorian steam engine reaching its absolute limit, cross the line and stop the watch. That was tough. I'm trying not to cough up a lung as I look down at the watch. 19:16. Not too shabby, especially considering I didn't have anyone to push me for the final couple of kilometres and I was rambling the whole way. 19:16 is a solid result and on a beautiful course. I put my splits up on the screen, but as I said, anything under 19 minutes was basically out of the question today once that 3rd kilometre time popped up. I'm going to try and speak a little bit of my broken German to the marshals to say thanks, though at this point my brain is as tired as my legs. If you enjoyed this trip out to Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the like button so you don't miss out on the next adventure, and I'll catch you all in the next one.